Oh, hello there again. Professor Braniff at the Coffee House College. I'd like to talk to you about something I saw on the internet. There's all these emails I get about coding, computer coding. Well, as of a few days ago, I've been in computers over 50 years. I know a few things about them. And coding isn't going to do it. Yes, you need to have coding. Coding is writing code for what today we call apps. Years ago we called them programs. It's the same thing. Try and build a system. A system is not the same as building a simple app. While coding is essential if you want to have control over a computer, it's merely the first step. It's a baby step. When I started with computers, first thing I realized, I was amazed. I said I could have done this when I was 10. Coding, that is. Building systems is a whole different ballgame. And just because you know coding doesn't mean you know how to build a system. And I really see a lot of things today that bother me with the systems. For example, I see what I call presumptive design, as though the person writing the code knows what I think, knows what I want, and they're going to do it for me. Well, that's not true. And anybody who's had any real experience in developing real-life systems, not something that exists in a game, but is used by real people day in and day out, knows that you can't do that. In fact, the basic idea when you build a system is to let the computer do as much as possible, but do not force it down the user's throat. The user has a right to his own decisions. He makes his own choices. You offer him those choices. And by the way, when you design a system, you design it so that when new things are discovered, the system can be expanded without having to rewrite the entire system. Go to your doctor's office. Oh, this is the third one we've had here now. Well, the other two, they couldn't work. And by the way, what happened to all the information that was put in for the first two? Well, they said we have to put it in again. Actually, you don't. If they knew what they were doing, you could have brought it over like that. It's something we've been doing for 40 years, easily. But today's youth apparently just thinks coding is the way to go. It doesn't really understand. You're inconveniencing a lot of people. Furthermore, when you do certain things, like some of the operating systems automatically think it's okay to reboot your computer. Well, it really isn't. Because you have your system set up a certain way. You know where things are. The minute that computer is rebooted and it puts things in different places, guess what happens? You have to hunt and peck. Now, if you're a business and you have 10,000 workers and all of a sudden all 10,000 workers' screens look different the next morning, you're going to lose a lot of business. Not only are you going to lose business, you're going to have errors. This is why you can't presume. And that's my point. What we're going to do here is teach students. Yes, you have to know how to code. But that's the first step. It's after that that you really learn. When you learn how to build a system, when you learn what it's really like. Actually, most people have never really seen a system. Yes, they see what goes in. Anybody can do that. They see what comes out. But they don't see what's in the middle. And if you go back to the old days, that used to be called the calculate step. I was told years ago when I first got into this business, this fellow told me, he said, we had to make a system over the weekend. He said, I wrote one program. His name was John, by the way. And this other fellow wrote about 10 reports. But Monday morning, we had it all done. They tested it out. It worked. And the boss came over and shook my hand and said, nice work, John. But no user ever saw what John wrote, because the part that John wrote is the invisible part, the calculate step. It was what he wrote that made the whole system possible. The man who wrote the reports, he got the layout from John. He knows where he was going to go. Any child can do that. You're going from here to here. But with systems, it doesn't work that way. A system is something that keeps track of records, and it eats its own tail. It's a whole different ballgame. So that's one of the things we hope to teach here at the Coffee House College. How to do systems. How to raise the bar, as it were, way beyond coding. Thanks very much for listening. Take care.